Okay, well, we were getting rained on, which we needed it. A couple weeks back, I went to the farm show and hung out with Joe Primal. And when we got to talking, I asked him about this particular topic if he'd do a video on it. And I still hope he does. Okay, he hasn't yet. But I think he's just real busy. I can imagine what he's going through. He's, it's not real good weather for almond farmers right now. We went through about 2 weeks of 75-degree weather, almost got to 80. All the trees went into bloom, started to bud. And last week it was down to 27 degrees, and now we're getting hammered with the rain. So it's just not real good for those little flowers. A lot of farmers having tough times with this right now. Anyhow, the question I brought up to him, most of us are old enough. We were around for the big recession, the 2008, the bubble, okay? Real estate bubble, whatever it was, the mortgage thing, the lending thing, all this crap, the bailouts and all that. So you'll, unless you're just a little kid, you have some experience with it. How do I put this? I had a lot of friends. I sold a place in 2005, made a lot of money with it, and then put the money right back into real estate because I didn't like having it sitting around. Okay. And I paid too much for the property that I bought. But for some reason, I felt safer with it being in, locked into a mortgage and all this crap. Stupid. I talked about that before. Had a lot of friends, bought homes, took what they call them, equity loans out, bought the Harleys, bought the boats, bought this, that, and the other thing, had funky loans, and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of people basically overspent, over-leveraged themselves, and lost those homes, lost the motorcycles, the boats, the cars, and a lot of them lost their jobs at the same time. When the market, not the market, but when it finally hit, a lot of industry was affected. Construction was just shot in the foot. It was dead in the water, and all the stuff that's connected with it. And so a lot of those people lost their jobs after they'd already bought a fancy home, the boat, and all this stuff. So there's a whole lot of junk going on. And I had a lot of friends that lost all that stuff. I also had a handful of friends that bought all that stuff. Okay. Now, you say, well, what I'm saying? Well, I had a good friend of mine, guy lives up the street, he's in the paving business. And they always maintained to be out of debt. They paid cash for everything. They had very little debt to be in a paving business. They did like strip malls, that kind of stuff, put in parking lots and all that. They didn't do roads, but parking lots. And so when his particular industry, when construction went south, that was his industry, they took a big cut, but they didn't have a whole lot of expenses. They also had cash laid aside, okay? And they bought like $1 million worth of equipment for about $250,000 at auction. Graders, pavers, all this kind of stuff. Because they just happen to have money. They happen to be liquid at the right time. Okay? A lot of paver guys lost their stuff. Now, you may have been someone that bought the stuff and lost it. The last bubble we're talking about. They say there's another bubble coming. I don't know if it's tied to real estate. Maybe it is. Maybe it's something else. But it may be similar to the last one. My question is, are you going to be a winner or a loser in the next bubble? If there's opportunity to be made, if this happens again, everything all of a sudden you're back in a buyer's market. Will you be in a position to take advantage of that? Are you prepared for something like that? Or, I think the economy is going to take off here. I think the economy is going to do quite well. Maybe feed the bubble. And like I said, I'm speculating on the bubble thing. I'm only going by whatever, whether it happens or not. But, we had a pretty good economy riding up to that thing, and everybody was making money, and everybody was spending money. So you're in a position to save some of that money because there may be an opportunity in the near future where it's a buyer's market again. I walked away from the sale of my home in 2005 with it was like $162,000 cash. Okay, no capital gains. That was cashed out. In 2009, 10, 11, maybe even 12. Actually, probably say 10, 11 in there. I can't tell you how many acres I could have bought with $162,000. Well, if you want to buy rentals or whatever, speculative property or whatever, but I could have bought a hell of a lot of pasture with that money and paid cash for it, no mortgage. But I didn't wait. I didn't want to wait. Having the cash scared me. That was my situation. But here's what I'm saying. There's a potential bubble, going to burst, going to be another recession type thing, maybe something like that. And a lot of people get hurt because that's how these things build up and then crash down. Everybody loses it. Will you be in a position? Because a lot of people here in this community talk about, oh yeah, this epic collapse is coming, or this, all this thing is coming. And okay, so if it comes, you can make a crap pot full bag of money in the next one. Okay, we tend to look at everything from this bad end of the world, apocalyptic kind of thing, and there's money to be made there. Okay, opportunity. I think it was that the Japanese guy, rich dad, poor dad, Kusiaki or something like that. And the lady, I saw an interview with him about a month ago. The lady says, she says, you think another bubble's coming, don't you? He goes, oh, I hope so. Because he's going to make out just like he did on the last one. If you have yourself out of debt, where you have cash, or you have the availability to do some things, or even if you used credit at the time, whatever the case is, you may have another major buyer's market for real estate, toys. I mean, Harleys, you can give Harleys away. Okay? This kind of thing, if that's your bag. Boats, whatever the deal is. RVs, all this stuff. Man, that stuff goes cheap and quick. If you're into that sort of thing. But will you be ready, if there is a next one, a coming collapse like that, will you be prepared to reap the benefits of some of the opportunity? That's my question to you. Anyhow, do a VR. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of us don't think about the positive side, the opportunity side of a collapse or whatever you want to call it. See? I know wealthy people think like I got some friends that are like that. They know how to be at the right place at the right time, cash in hand. Wasn't me. Anyhow, do a VR. Let me know what you think. Love you. God bless.